Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're talking about vehicles that are about to tank in value. Before we get in this video though, as always, if you're going to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. And then if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. Let's get into it. So I just posted a video talking about the used car market, and in that video I talked about different car categories and their year-over-year changes, but let's quickly dive into that just to kind of set the stage for today's video. So year-over-year changes with compact cars, and by the way, this is from April of 2022 to April of 2023, negative 3.4%. Luxury cars, negative 9%. Mid-size cars, negative 3.9%. Pickup trucks, negative 0.2%. SUVs/CUVs, negative 5%, vans, negative 5.6%, and the average year-over-year change in a car's value is a negative 4.4%. Now that we've gone over the year-over-year changes within each of these car categories, let's talk about what the future might hold for these different car categories and also dive into some individual cars as well. So starting with compact cars, this category is actually probably going to remain relatively strong when it comes to resale value. Yes, it's most likely going to continue to depreciate at a slightly accelerated rate along with the overall used car market. But what you have to remember is as economic things continue to get worse, there's going to be more and more people that are looking for compact cars because compact cars are affordable, they're fuel efficient, and there are plenty of cars in this category that are super reliable. Think like Toyota Corolla, for example. And so when things are bad economically, people think about cutting costs in their lives, and one of the ways to cut costs is by trading in your big gas-guzzling SUV or truck for a reliable, fuel-efficient, compact car. And so there's going to be more depreciation with this category, but it's going to remain relatively strong. Now, luxury cars. This is the category that's had the biggest amount of depreciation, and I don't see this stopping anytime soon because when you look at the buyer that buys a pre-owned luxury car, this is typically someone that is looking for a bargain, right? Because when you buy a luxury car brand new, you typically will experience a lot of depreciation right off of the lot. That's just what happens historically. And so if you're buying one used, you're kind of like a bargain hunter. And well, over the last couple of years, this hasn't been the trend with luxury cars. Luxury cars on the used market and on the new market have just been insanely expensive. A lot of new ones have been going for over MSRP, and a lot of used ones have been going for over original MSRP. And with everything, again, pulling back with the economy, I see the luxury cars continuing to get pummeled. And what I see definitely happening is the luxury cars that are still going for over MSRP, so think like your Mercedes G-Wagons, for example, your full-size Range Rovers, those are the cars that are going to absolutely, I shouldn't say destroy people because the people that buy those cars probably have enough money to write off the losses, but those cars are definitely going to experience a lot of depreciation. We're already seeing it. Like you look at used new body style G-Wagons, and they are going for significantly less than their original MSRPs, and they're continuing to lose value. So yeah, I'd be wary of used luxury cars. Those are about to get a whole lot cheaper. Now, when it comes to mid-size cars, this particular segment is going to probably continue to experience slightly above normal depreciation. There's going to be some people that are going to go to mid-size cars, because they're trying to downsize something more affordable and they need a little bit more space than a compact car. But I think it's still going to continue to have more depreciation than compact cars. Now, pickup trucks. This is the segment that's experienced the least amount of depreciation year over year, but mark my words, I think pickup trucks are about to have a huge value loss in the near future, especially the 1500 series pickup trucks. So think your Ford F-150, Chevy Silverado 1500, Ram 1500, so on and so forth. And the reason I think this is because the brand new ones are not selling. And the reason why, by the way, these pickup trucks on the used market are still selling for high prices is because the new ones have had such big price increases. Well, as these new ones continue to sit on dealer lots and as they continue to get bigger and bigger discounts from dealerships and from manufacturers, this is going to put more downward pressure on the used market with these pickup trucks. And so, once we get those, 10,000, 15,000, maybe even 20,000 off discounts on the new ones, expect these pre-owned ones to take a pretty big value hit because you'll have a lot of people flock to buy the new ones once the discounts are big enough. SUVs and CUVs, basically similar situation to what I said with compact cars. There's going to be a lot of people that, need more space than what, is provided in a compact car, and they don't want to be so low to the ground. So they're going to go to SUVs and CUVs. So like vehicles like, Toyota RAV4, Honda CR-V, all that kind of stuff, Mazda CX-5, those are, again, they're going to experience some depreciation, but they're going to continue to hold relatively well. And then when it comes to vans, this is an interesting one because the new van market is still pretty constrained when it comes to supply. And so this is definitely helping to kind of hold up van values. And so as soon as there is more availability with these new minivans, and who knows if that's ever going to happen, but as soon as that happens, it's definitely going to, push those values down a bit. But that market's a little bit different. It's kind of too soon to tell because that market's more of like a feast or famine type market where there's not like consistent buying year round. Usually what happens is there's like, people somewhat buying throughout the year, but then right before summer, you've got tons of people jumping in and buying minivans because they want to road trip and everything in the summer with all of their kids. Now, the last category that was not in that list is going to be sports cars. Now, sports cars have actually experienced very minimal depreciation over the last year, especially compared to the overall car market. However, I do think that this is a trend that is probably not going to last, again, especially if economic conditions continue to get worse, because what you'll see happen is that once things get bad enough, people will start getting rid of their sports cars because sports cars aren't a necessity. Now, again, the reason why sports cars are currently holding their value so well is because there's enough excitement behind certain cars that it's elevating the values. But again, once things get tight, that excitement pretty much dies. And so again, with that particular segment, it's too soon to tell, but there is potential where there could be some pretty big value loss in the future. Now, the last category that I want to talk about before we cap things off is going to be specialty type vehicles. These vehicles have actually done really well over the course of the last couple of years, obviously going up in value quite a bit, but then the resale value also staying pretty strong. I mean, look at Ford Raptors, for example. There are still used Raptors that are going for over original MSRP. It's pretty crazy what's happening with that market. If you guys are wanting other examples of specialty type vehicles, think about like Hellcats from the Dodge brand. Anything that is kind of like lower production or is very focused at what it does. So like the Raptor, it's super focused at off-roading. And so any vehicles that are really focused like that, like, think TRD Pros from Toyota, for example, or sport car packages that are really focused towards performance and handling, or even sport SUV packages. So like with BMW, think about like your competition packages on some of these vehicles. But with these specialty vehicles, here's the deal. So some dealers are obviously still going to be trying to ask over MSRP for these cars, and there are plenty of rich people that are willing to pay these over MSRP prices because there's quite a bit of hype on a lot of these cars in today's market, even though things have pulled back quite a bit. But the thing that I want to say is that the over MSRP sales on the used market are not going to be a thing that's going to last too much longer. Again, the car market is starting to normalize with new cars, and the used car market is very constrained with overall supply, but we're starting to see values go down. Like that's a general trend with the used car market. And so with these more specialty type vehicles, they're going to take a pretty big hit on the used market. Now, a lot of people are probably not going to see it as that big of a hit because they're going to go, oh, well, this vehicle is now selling for original MSRP used. And it's like, wait a second. A couple months ago, that was selling for $30,000 over original MSRP used, and now it's selling for original MSRP. Like, if you paid that $30,000 price premium, you would have just lost a ton of money. And so my advice with these vehicles is just do your due diligence, shop some, and just be patient and wait for the right deal to come across. Like on Raptors, for example, I have so many people ask me, hey Ben, should I pay 5,000 ADM, 10,000 ADM on Raptors? And my response to all of you is I wouldn't pay anything over sticker for a Raptor because there are enough dealers, especially now, that not only have these trucks in inventory right now for sale, but they're willing to sell them at MSRP with no markup. You just have to do a little bit of searching. I mean, someone recently that reached out to me, within like 2 days, they found one. And not only did they find one, but it was like within, I think like a 50-mile radius of where they live, which isn't like the super small distance, but I mean, that's still relatively close. That's something that you can go and drive to in a day. But that's the specialty vehicle side of things. So in summary, the used car market is trending downwards, which means that all used cars are going to lose value. And frankly, that's what used cars should do. That's what the used car market's supposed to do, right? Cars are not appreciating assets. They are depreciating items, right? They're depreciating liabilities, whatever you want to call them. But with that being said, not all categories are created equal. And there are 3 categories that I think are pretty dangerous right now. Again, it's just based on my research and my opinion. Sports cars, luxury cars, and specialty type vehicles. These are vehicles that are still going for big markups over MSRP, brand new at dealers. And I just don't see this lasting for much longer because the amount of people that can still afford and want to pay these markups or are willing to pay these markups is continuing to shrink with the brand new cars. So that means that the amount of people that would be willing to pay over original MSRP for these vehicles in the used market is definitely going to dwindle. It's already dwindled quite a bit. I've already seen huge value hits across the board with a lot of these vehicles. I mean, Bronco Raptors is a great example. They were going for like $140,000 a couple months ago, and now there are used Bronco Raptors that are going in the $80,000 range, like huge price difference. And so I would just be patient with those types of vehicles. And, frankly, no matter what dealers say to you about resale value, this and that, I wouldn't buy it. I would just understand that if you pay over MSRP for any vehicle with where the car market's going, you're going to lose money. Even if you pay MSRP with where the car market's going, you're going to lose money because, again, cars are depreciating items. And so that's kind of the track moving forward. And so if you want to minimize the amount of money that you lose, then don't pay the markups. I'll see you.